This is one of those stories that takes over the NFL conversation and refuses to let go, the kind of rumor that ignites fan bases, lights up talk shows, and makes even casual viewers stop scrolling for a second. The Dallas Cowboys, America's team, have reportedly picked up the phone and made calls about Cincinnati Bengals pass rushing star Trey Hendrickson ahead of the trade deadline, and if that doesn't make you sit up straight, I don't know what will. The idea of the Cowboys, one of the most polarizing franchises in all of sports, trying to pull off a last-minute blockbuster for one of the league's premier sack artists has sent social media into meltdown mode. Reports say the Cowboys have called and that the Bengals have at least listened, even if they haven't actively shopped Hendrickson, and that single word called has fans losing their minds. In this video, I want to unpack everything that's happening behind the scenes, what it means for both franchises, and why this rumor could shift the power balance of the entire NFC if it becomes reality. So let's start with the basics. Trey Hendrickson isn't just any player. He's a nightmare for quarterbacks, a relentless edge rusher who combines technique, motor, and power in a way very few can match. Since joining the Bengals, he's been one of the league's most productive defensive ends, routinely posting double-digit sacks and bringing a level of intensity that sets the tone for the entire defense. His consistency, durability, and leadership have made him a cornerstone in Cincinnati's recent success. He's not some flash-in-the-pan guy. He's a proven, reliable, disruptive force who draws double teams and still finds ways to make plays. That's the kind of player every team wants, and that's why his name being attached to the Cowboys is causing such a frenzy. Now, for Dallas, this isn't coming out of nowhere. Their defense, while talented on paper, has been inconsistent and has struggled to get pressure at key moments. The Cowboys have been searching for that missing piece, the kind of game-changer who can wreck offensive game plans. After parting ways with Micah Parsons in a stunning offseason trade that still divides fans, the Cowboys have lacked that true alpha presence on the edge. They've got some promising young talent, sure, but when you're trying to compete for a Super Bowl right now, promise isn't enough. You need production, leadership, and fear factor. Hendrickson checks all three boxes. He's exactly the type of player who could walk into the locker room, throw on that star helmet, and instantly raise the defensive standard. From the Bengals' perspective, though, it's complicated. They're not a rebuilding team, they're in the thick of the AFC playoff picture and still see themselves as contenders. Trading Hendrickson would send shockwaves through their fan base and possibly signal a pivot toward the future rather than the present. But there are reasons they might at least pick up the phone. Hendrickson's contract situation is a factor. He's nearing the end of his deal and will command big money on his next one. If Cincinnati doesn't believe they can or should pay him top-tier edge rusher money at his age, then exploring trade options now could make sense. Better to get a first-round pick or a valuable young player than to lose him for nothing in free agency. Still, that doesn't mean they're eager to deal him. This is one of those cases where the Cowboys are trying to capitalize on timing, leverage, and urgency as the deadline approaches. For Dallas, it's a power play. They know the window is right now. Dak Prescott is still playing at a high level, CeeDee Lamb is in his prime, and the offensive line is healthy and dominant. This team doesn't want to waste another year being good but not great. They want to get over that hump, and defense is the area holding them back. If you're Jerry Jones, you're sitting in that luxury suite, looking down at the field, and thinking, what if we just add one more elite pass rusher? Jones has never been shy about making splashy moves. He loves star power, he loves headlines, and more importantly, he loves winning. Bringing Hendrickson to Dallas would be a signature Jerry Jones move, bold, expensive, controversial, and absolutely headline-grabbing. But let's not gloss over the cost. Rumors suggest the Bengals would demand at least a first-round pick, possibly more. That's steep for a player who's approaching 30 and whose next contract will cost a fortune. The Cowboys are notoriously protective of their draft capital, but if they believe Hendrickson is the final piece to a championship puzzle, it might be worth the gamble. They've done similar things before. Remember when they traded a first-rounder for Amari Cooper, or when they pulled off high-profile moves in the past to shake up the roster. This would fit that same pattern, except this time it's for a defensive difference-maker rather than an offensive weapon. And there's another wrinkle: salary cap space. The Cowboys would need to jibble money, likely restructure some contracts, or even include a player or two in the deal to make it work. That could mean sending a rotational defensive lineman or a mid-tier starter to Cincinnati along with picks. It wouldn't just be a simple one for one deal. It would be complex, multi-layered, and risky. And that's exactly what makes it so fascinating. Because trades like this, when they happen, change everything. They change locker room dynamics, media narratives, and even postseason expectations. Think about the impact if Hendrickson actually donned the star. The Cowboys' defense would immediately gain an identity again, a swagger that's been missing since Parsons left. Offensive coordinators would have to game plan differently. Quarterbacks would feel the heat sooner. Suddenly, that defense that's been bending might start breaking opponents instead. And that ripple effect would help everyone. The secondary gets more takeaways, the linebackers play looser, and the offense gets more short field opportunities. A true pass rusher can completely transform a team's energy, not just their stat sheet. Now, on the Bengals side, losing Hendrickson would obviously hurt in the short term. But if they believe they can still generate pressure with other players like Sam Hubbard or younger emerging talent, it could be a move that strengthens them long term. They get premium draft picks, maybe a defensive prospect from Dallas, and the financial flexibility to extend other stars. It's not crazy to think that Cincinnati might make a tough decision for the bigger picture. But any GM who trades away a player like Hendrickson has to be prepared for the backlash. Fans love him. Teammates respect him. He's the kind of guy whose departure would sting for a while. So where does this all go from here? Probably right down to the wire. The final hours of the trade deadline are chaos in the NFL. Teams get desperate, values shift, and sometimes, all it takes is one injury or one game to change a team's entire outlook. If the Cowboys lose another defensive starter, the urgency spikes. If the Bengals lose a game and fall in the standings, maybe they reconsider holding on to Hendrickson. Every little detail matters. The phone lines between Dallas and Cincinnati are probably still open, even if no one's admitting it publicly. At the end of the day, this story has everything that makes NFL drama great: star players, big money, bold owners, tight deadlines, and fan passion. Whether the trade happens or not, it's already made waves. It's reminded everyone that the Cowboys are always in the mix for something big and that no player is truly untouchable when the right offer comes along. For now, all we can do is wait, watch, and imagine. Imagine Trey Hendrickson running out of the tunnel at NT Stadium, fireworks blasting, the crowd roaring, that iconic star gleaming under the lights. Imagine the chaos, the excitement, the potential. That's the beauty of these moments, the what-ifs. And until that deadline clock hits zero, the what-ifs are alive and well in Dallas, Cincinnati, and all across the NFL world.